So thank you for joining Live with Laura. Today we are going to go through a start to finish with ELynx because, February is the month of love and we are going to fall back in love with ELynx. Today I have Maggie Coble-Livingston with me and she is the expert in ELynx. So with running our in-house Allegiance Insurance, she knows all the ins and outs of ELynx. So thank you, Maggie, for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Laura.
Of course, we are going to keep this so interactive. You guys are going to be chatting up a storm and asking all your questions about ELynx. So we're hoping that you're going to be able to maybe have ELynx open on one screen, so then you can ask questions as we're going along. Catherine and Taylor are going to be monitoring the chat for us, so we are good to go. So we are going to go through providing tips and tricks for ELynx. There's that new feature, the PURL, the Pearl feature that Maggie's going to talk to you guys about. That is amazing. You're going to absolutely love it. It's a game changer. And then I'm going to show you where you can go in to see what carriers write, what lines of business in ELynx that you're appointed with. So we want to keep this interactive, guys. So please let's get those questions into the chat. But first, as always, we want to go through, let you guys know what's new in the education department. So I want to get serious with you guys all right now because, I'm such a really serious person. We give you guys all these updates. Everybody needs to know what's going on with the carriers, what's going on with ASNOA. So if you guys have a better place that we can put all of this content together, let me know. But the best way we thought that we can get this all out to you is through our ASNOA breakfast brew, because reliable education works. The team works really hard on providing content for you guys in here. So we want you to take advantage of it. It gets emailed out the first of the month to you guys. So look at it. We're going to give you ideas, on ELynx, on Epic. We're going to let you know that American Reliable was purchased by Aegis. So they were going in and they're changing all the policy numbers at renewal. Nationwide is changing some of their farm policies at renewal. So these are things that we need to let you guys know. And we're going to put that in our Breakfast Brew newsletter. And we're going to send it out to you guys. And then inside the brew, we added some fun ideas here, because we want you guys to be interactive with it and we want you to read it. So the one that we put in for February was introducing the brew bucks. And let me see if Angel, I am going to unmute you and you can go ahead and you can explain to everybody about the brew bucks.
Beautiful. Hello, everybody. Yeah, so Brewbucks was a way for us to figure out, we were thinking of ways to get people more engaged, because we are putting a lot of great information into this, into the brew for you, to make everything an easy one-stop place to go for all the new things that are happening with, to help you with your agency. And so we decided to incentivize reading the brew. So what this is, it's going to kind of jump around in the brew. You have to click on the little box there and enter, I think it's just your name and your email, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not 100% sure what that looks like yet, but you'll be entered into a drawing to win a gift card for coffee. So that's right. Kind of just a small incentive to get you to read, and who doesn't like coffee while reading some content?
Absolutely. And our February winner, do you want to announce that?
Yeah, you can, I don't have, oh wait.
Okay, our February,
I don't have it pulled up, I'm sorry.
Is Paula Nienhauser from Missouri. So Paula sent in an email and she said, there are so many great things that she found in the brew when she was reading it. There was information that Catherine put together about epic reconciliations for commissions. We're going to put that in the brew for you because it is information that you should have. She also loved the download. Who downloads what? What are the codes you should be using when you're entering your policies in Epic? So she found that very helpful. And we had a whole area in there on discounts from different vendors. So those are the things that Paula found, and congratulations, Paula, you are going to be getting an email with a gift card for some coffee from us. So thank you very much. Go ahead. You want to talk about the other one? Angel,
The secret word.
the secret word. Do you want me to play it, or does anybody?
No, you don't have to play it. If you want to know what the secret, because you didn't announce it. We're going to announce it at the end of Live with Laura, I think today, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, so how the secret word work is again, just another way to get you involved in reading the brew, because we really want this information to hit home for y'all. And so every month, Laura is going to be putting in a little secret word video. When you go to the brew, you watch the video, come back to Live with Laura next month with that secret word. We're going to ask for it at some point. It will change throughout the year as to when she asks for it. But that will enter you also in to win a gift card, if I'm not
Secret
mistaken.
swag, secret
Oh,
swag.
I'm sorry. That's right. So you get some swag for this one. So if you guys have the brew, maybe just get into your email real quick and try to find it and figure out what that secret word is before the end of today. Then you'll have the chance to win some As Noah swag.
Thanks, Deanna. Deanna went ahead and, oh, she says, oh, shoot. All right. So now everybody's like, yeah, I know what the secret word is for sure. So like Angel just said, we are going to have these two fun interactive things for you guys to win some secret swag, to get some brew bucks on us. So that's great. So yes, I won't play that video. I can't even believe that I did do that, but it is kind of funny. Everybody laughed at me. So if you go back in, it was sent out the February 1st, and you can go in and look at my crazy video that I did. Oh goodness. So next month I'll do another funny one for you guys. Perfect. Also, thanks, Angel.
Mm-hmm.
Our LMS, we talk about this all the time. It's growing and growing. More of our agents are jumping on board with our LMS so they can take advantage of all the education, all the learning paths that the team has put together, provided to you guys. So if you're not on it, go to asnoa.com, go to the Asnoa University, click on the LMS so you can learn more information about it. We're putting in every month a new learning path. I mean, that commission one is amazing that Catherine put together. Everybody's finding that so helpful to learn about that, how to get your policies off the outstanding commissions list into Epic so you can get paid, because that's what we're all here for, to get paid commission. Unless you're volunteering, that's okay too. All right, so the LMS, check it out. It's really awesome. Thanks, guys, for putting that on. They worked so hard with it. Oh, back to the brew. I wanted to do a shout out to Aaron. Aaron's on with us. We know who's reading the brew, so we don't want to call you out if you're not reading the brew, but we know who's reading it and who's not. And Aaron, thank you so much, because you have clicked on every single thing in the brew. You have provided us all the information back that we're looking for somebody who is taking advantage of the brew. So Aaron, thank you so much for being interactive with that as well. We appreciate you. Today is ELynx, all about ELynx. Love ELynx so much. If you're not using ELynx, you should be using ELynx. So I'm going to go ahead and I am going to share my screen and get ELynx up and rolling for us. All right, can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. All right, great. Thank you, Stephanie. ELynx. Love it, hate it. We're going to make you fall back in love with it. Maggie is ready. She is going to kick us off here with ELynx. And first, before we do that, if that's okay, Maggie, I just want to go through this home screen with everybody. This is the home screen of ELynx. It is the comparative rater. We only use it for the comparative rater. It is also a management system. We don't use it for that. We use Epic. So in here, these underwriting requests, we don't use them. But where you see ELynx carrier integration, it should say extension installed. If it's not, because you probably have EasyLink open on your other screen, go in and click on it if you're using Chrome and get that installed. That is going to help you after your quoting process. You can go from EasyLynx right into the carrier website. Boom, one click, there you are, log you in. So it is a great, efficient way to then go firm up your quote. And then I'm going to come over here to this left side. If you guys can see that, if you have multiple people within your agency, and now that you are going through and now you're into the remarketing stage, and now you need to locate somebody, that's another person. So Maggie and I work together. Maggie goes in and she does a quote and I can't see it over here on my recent quotes, but I can come in here and I can search it. So all I have to do is put in the last name and then I can search for somebody that Maggie was working on. It's a really great way to go in and search for your clients if somebody else was working on it. All right, anything more you wanted to add on that, Maggie?
I was just going to bring up a couple of reasons why you should be using EasyLynx, but I don't know if without doing a poll, is everybody on this call using EasyLynx for both new business and remarketing their clients? If you could put that in the chat, that'd be awesome just to know, because I have encountered a couple of agents that didn't realize that they should really be using this also as a renewal tool. Just like Laura said, going back to search for your client and rerun some rates for them, especially in this crazy market that we're in. It certainly helps with retention. And once you've entered them in there, really it's going back in and changing the effective dates, just spot checking if there are any other additional changes. So good to see. I see a lot of people say yes, which is fantastic. Now we are. Excellent.
Yes, Deanna, just for new business. So Deanna, Maggie's going to show you how efficient it is to use it for remarketing as well.
Mm-hmm. But before we do that, Laura, do you want to get into the Pearl link here, or do we want to hold off on that?
Hold off on that for 1 second, Maggie, because what I do want to go in is everybody knows they're using it. They can see their last applicants and their quotes here. The one thing that I need to show you guys so that everybody has this updated is the carrier quoting setup. So here's the little gear for settings. We're going to go to the carrier quoting setup. Here's where you're going to enter in your login information and the default information. So because this is, let's pick somebody, Maggie, anybody that you want to do? I always like to use Progressive or Safeco.
Travelers, Progressive, Safeco, one of the top.
Yeah, and for some reason, all right, we'll use Progressive. All right, so we're going to use Progressive. So here you're going to go in and pick your states, and then you're going to go to your logins and you're going to put in your username and your password. Then you're going to click on carrier questions. It's so important that you are going to put in these carrier questions. There's a whole bunch of them, and it is really important that you put these in here. You're going to put in your username. I'm going to put in anybody's, let's just pick Ryan's. And then you're going to read all of these. If the effective date is more than 60 days in the future, do you want to change the effective date to today? And you should put yes, because if you don't, then what's going to happen is it's going to air out and you're not going to get a quote from this carrier. So then you're going to go through all of the different questions and then you're going to save them. Anything more, Max, that you want to talk about for Snapshot or any of the telematics?
Telematics, I will just piggyback off of, and this conversation comes up often. A lot of people don't like to ask the question or they don't like change, right? But I think start asking. It's going to help with retention. You'd be surprised by the number of clients that will say yes. It's always the people that you think would say no are the ones that in fact say yes. So if you're not doing it already, I would just certainly at least give it a try, see how you like it. And again, it's another tool to help ease those renewal increases, especially if you're writing 6-month autos.
Ooh, 6-month autos. Try not to. That's one of the things that I always talk about when we'll get into the quote about quoting when you have a home in the auto and making sure that you are quoting that auto for 12 months. Because it is really hard if somebody calls you up and says, hey, I got my auto, it's 6-month auto, it went up $5, and you go in and you're now, moving that home, which is mortgagee billed, and there's a lot of work to do in that. So one thing I always suggest is try to quote at least 12 months if that carrier allows it. All right. Anything more we should touch on with the carrier quoting setup? If you get a new carrier, so you're new to ESNOA, you get a new carrier, you're going to want to make sure too that you come back in here and enter in your login and your defaults for that.
I also do suggest make it a yearly practice. Maybe you could do it twice a year where you're just reviewing your defaults with your team. It certainly helps because you might find that you have something old in there. In addition to that, having carrier conversations just regarding getting the best rate in EZLynx, your go-to person to help you get that rate with the carrier is the carrier rep. If you have any other questions regarding that, just reach out to Laura. She can get you in touch with me.
Absolutely. Another tip too is in the LMS, we have an entire learning path on EZLynx that's going to go through step by step on everything that you should be doing. We also have some documents in there on some tips and tricks on what the carriers would like you to have set up in EZLynx as well. So we have that available in the LMS. All right, let me go back down here. How do you add a new carrier? Rich is asking if you have a carrier and you would like that to be added into EZLynx, but because it currently isn't, you would email agencyservices@esnoa.com. And I know Catherine is typing right now as we speak. She's like typing that in the chat. So you have that email address. Just email agency services, let them know that, hey, I just got an appointment with Travelers. Can you please add that into EZLynx? And then they will, for sure. Did that answer your question, Rich? And then you're going to want to make sure you come back in here and then add the carrier logins up at the carrier quoting setup. All right, perfect. Real quick, while I'm right here, I want to show you guys this support. It's the little book right here on the left. You can come in here and go to the support center. You can watch any of their training videos. You can attend webinars. You can contact them. Oops, excuse me. And the carrier library. The carrier library is really important for a lot of our agents because it is going to show you what carriers write what lines of business in what states. So you get a new carrier and you're wondering, why is this not on my EZLynx? All right, well, it's not there because they might not be writing. So the carrier decides if they're going to use EZLynx and what line of business that they're going to be writing in here. So if you go to that carrier library, you can put in your state or you can search it by a specific carrier and click search, and then you'll see all of them. We're not appointed with all of them, but that's going to give you the idea of what carriers are on for the state. And then if you hit number 2, now you're going to see the next page. All right, so that's the carrier library. So if you email me and ask me, hey, what is this carrier on EZLynx? I'm more than likely going to ask you if you went in and checked the carrier library in EZLynx. Just because I'm giving you guys this helpful information, I'm hoping that you'll be able to take away some of this and then jump in here and take a look at what we're providing to you. All right, anything else on here, Maggie?
I do want to ask one more question to everybody. out of curiosity too, and maybe this will give some others ideas on how to collect quote data. So I'm curious if you could put it in the chat too. Are you using quote sheets in your agency? Are you using ELynx as the source of just going right in to put the data entry? Do you have any sort of vendor or other quoting service that you use to collect quote information on your website? Because what I think is great to really think about is ELynx is a method of collecting and asking the right questions to your prospects. So we'll get into that a little bit more because Laura, I do want to show them the CQ today as well, in addition to the Pearl. If we have time to just talk about it, and I can show them what we have at least on the Allegiance website, just, you know, to have people step out of their comfort zones a little bit and think maybe quote sheets aren't the answer moving forward, right? Because we're all trying to quote quicker and compete with everybody online. And I think there are some other alternatives outside of quote sheets that are helpful. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love quote sheets, and it allows you to, again, ask the right questions and proof the agency. But Laura, if we can take away just some of the feedback here as far as what everybody is using, I think that'll just be helpful.
So Maggie, it looks like a lot of people are using quote sheets, and some of them are going directly into ELynx and adding in all of that information.
Okay, and that's great. That's fantastic. A lot of you too will probably, if you come from the captive world, know that there is a little bit more that goes into the quoting process on the independent side, because you're trying to feed all these different carriers information and get the, you know, most accurate rating but best coverage for your client. So and I love that quote sheet based out of ELynx. We also provide one. I know it lives in the LMS too. Laura's probably given it to all of you, and we have absolutely created that based off of the questions in ELynx. So
absolutely.
I don't. Yes, if you want to just jump right in, I think with that kind of answers the question.
All right. Does anybody have any questions before we jump into a quote? I think we're good. I think we got all that information down. We have quote sheets. If you guys wanted to, you could email training@asnoa.com. We can send those to you if you have access to the LMS. Go right in there. They're in the ELynx path. And I'm telling you, Maggie worked with me on this ELynx path, and it's amazing. It absolutely is. Thanks, Taylor. Taylor, can you put that email address into everybody for me? Thank you.
Yeah, sorry.
I know. All right, wonderful. All right, let's just jump in and take a look, and we'll do myself. All right, here we are. So when you're looking at this page, this is the page that is for your client. So you can see we have Laura and Ty Hamilton. I'll let Maggie get into this in a second, but as you come down you'll see the address. Here's Zillow. A lot of times your client will say, I don't know how many square feet my house is or any of that information. You can click on Zillow to see your house. That is not my house. So you want to make sure that when you are coming into Zillow, that it is showing the person's house. You know, if they're telling you that they have a brick house and it's bringing up your neighbors, because I live over here on the corner, that's going to be an issue. So you want to make sure if you are using Zillow that it is bringing up the most accurate information on the house. And then you got, you know, all the rest of the information for emails, phone numbers, you know, that all is going to store in there. So I'll let Maggie jump in and show you guys this great feature.
So the Pearl link is what it's referred to. The PURL is a unique link that you can create for a prospect. Now, Laura already exists in ELynx today as an applicant, so it's easy for us to just go ahead and pull it in. But all you need at the end of the day, you're going to create a new applicant with the name, you need their address, and you need their email. And by just taking those three pieces of information, you can create an applicant, input the name, the address, and the email. And right where Laura's got highlighted there, go ahead and click that again, Laura. You can create a personal URL, which can be emailed to them directly. And Laura, if you want to try to email it to yourself, we can see if it pulls up. This is just, again, you heard me mention how are you collecting quote data. an alternative, rather than using quote sheets, you can send them a link and have them start filling out this information themselves.
Yeah,
I
for
know it's a
sure.
little bit less personable, but at the end of the day, you know, in this digital world we're living in, this is what people are doing. They're going online and trying to obtain quotes quickly and on their own. So the Pearl link is definitely excellent. Jim, I don't believe they can go back in and edit it, but what I do suggest is, obviously, if you go that route, you use that tool, just do a full review anyways regarding the information at the end, what to correct it. Now, Kurt, I do use the Pearl link a little bit more often than I have in the past. It took me a bit of time to get away from the quote sheet. It's something I had used for 10 years. Still use it today, still love it, but I'm getting into the habit of also just getting deck pages, going through and then asking my extra questions. So I know we all have our little means of cheating around the process, but being as effective as possible. Laura, I think people want to see, okay. So
Yep, it took a minute to
Yep.
come to them.
So this is what the prospect would receive on their end. They just have to go ahead and, I don't know where it went, Laura. Sorry, it disappeared.
It disappeared?
It just says ELynx in the background. Once the prospect receives the email, this is what it looks like. And all they have to do is click here for website, and they're going to enter their last name and their zip code to verify. And then once they pull themselves up here, they can select, you know, auto, home, one or the other, both, and then go through and type that information out on their own. And once they're completed with it, you're going to get an email back. We won't walk through it today, but you're going to get an email alerted that you've got, you know, this completed quote in ELynx. They're not going to get returned quotes back. And I'll tell you why we actually like it better that way. In the past, we've tested this out for many years, and unfortunately, with all the juggling of the carriers and different systems talking, the rates would tend to error out. So they get a just nice message at the very end saying somebody, so-and-so will be in contact with you. So again, this is an alternative to using quote sheets. And then Laura, if you want, can you pull up myallegianceins.com real quick, and we can show them an additional feature ELynx does have to offer. The Pearl link is free. It's already included with ELynx today, but they have a feature called the CQ. It's their consumer quoting tool. I was gonna say wrong allegiance. I believe it's $54 extra a month, but you can embed it into your website. So Laura, if you go ahead and click on get a quote, this is what exists today. So if you scroll down a little bit.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
was it user error? Did I do something here? Let me,
On myself, just double check. Sorry, everybody, not expecting that to happen.
sorry, it did work when we tested it, so.
I'm getting the same error, unfortunately, but ideally, same concept, but you could drive anybody to your website. The disadvantage of the Pearl link is that you already have to have that prospect. You have to have their name, address, and email. If you don't have that, you have the CQ option, again, $54 extra a month, but you can, however you need to do it, get creative with it. If you send out a newsletter or, you know, you work your book currently, you can send them a link directly to your website to get a detailed quote. Same method, looks identical at the end of the day, but I just did want to point that out as an additional feature today.
Paula asked what makes that error happen.
To be honest, I'm pretty sure that's an error on our website today that was unforeseen. I don't believe at all that's related to ELynx, so I apologize, everybody.
And you know what? It could be something at this very moment, the web developers are on there fixing something. Maybe Maggie had asked them to tweak.
I did request an update regarding making get a quote very large on our homepage. I don't know if it has something to do with it, but this is a good thing to point out too. You look at my homepage, it says get a quote. It's super teeny tiny. You want that big and bold. First thing that they see. Yeah.
Yep, that would be great if it was right there.
Yeah.
Paula said that she gets that error multiple times. I'm not sure. We'll look into that, Paula, and then we will let you know when Maggie finds out why it's happening on her end too. All right. Are you good with your website?
Yep. Unfortunately, I couldn't show you all the way through today. I apologize for that.
And if you don't have a website, that's for another time, but make sure you do. You want to drive people back there. Anything you wanted me to go through on this, Maggie?
I don't think so. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It doesn't look beautiful. I mean, it looks exactly how you see it today, but I think really anybody can navigate it and enter that information themselves.
Yeah, it's just the same information that you would be providing them. So Maggie, somebody chatted in, what's the advantage of using this?
Of the Pearl link?
Yep. If you could re-explain that.
Sure, absolutely. Again, it's more of a time save for you and your agency. So rather than, you can kind of break the habit of only using quote sheets where you can just send this link. Let's say, I think we can all agree that the younger generation tends to not want to have conversations or pick up the phone and talk to somebody these days. Let's say you also have a customer who works nights and sleeps during the day, right? You can send them this link and have a conversation with them. Hey, I can just send you a link. You can fill out the information at your leisure rather than us having to sit down and have a one-on-one conversation to complete a quote sheet. And that's just an alternative means of collecting that data to quote that prospect.
Perfect. All right, did that answer your questions? Anything more on the PURL? So here, somebody asked me to show it again. It's right here. When you log into the client, it is right here with the 3 little dots, the share icon, and then you just click on the personal URL. All right, I really like you guys to all try that out. Send it to yourself, because I'm sure you've all quoted yourselves in ELynx. Send it to yourself and let us know, let Maggie and I know what you guys think of it.
If you have a customer too, I know we're getting into, people are starting to buy homes again. You've already got an existing client that's purchasing a new home and they're open to trying this out. Just find them in ELynx. They already exist in there as long as the emails and ELynx. Send them the PURL link and see if they can complete the home quote information on their own. Just a thought. So I certainly recommend testing it out. And then you're going to say, wow, this is pretty easy. And again, no better person to test it on than yourself to see how you like it too. And if it's something that you can implement in your agency, great. Or if you have producers, they can be sending that out as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love this new feature. All right, so here I am. We'll go into auto first. All right, Maggie, you want to jump in here, or do you want me to go through this page?
I will just say this. I select every single carrier every single time. I've seen people try to deselect, you've got to meet these quotas by carriers. Well, maybe somebody's not competitive today, but they may be a month from now, right? The rates are ever fluctuating. So if I can recommend anything here, quote everybody every single time.
Always. That's a great tip. All right, here is the template. So I have in here my own templates. Not sure why there's 2, but you can use those. So it is a default for 100, 300, 100. That's the minimum that we quote here in the home office. What you do in your agency, you can set up your own quotes as well. So the one thing that people always ask me, how do I set up a quote template? So this is what I'm going to tell you. Go in and create a client called Mr. Quote Template or Mrs. Quote Template. Go in and enter in all the details that you want to set up, and then name it and then save it to your agency. So when we get to the end of the quote, I'll tell you how you're going to go in and then you can save that as well. So then for your agency, mine will show up and then yours will show up. But save them to just your agency, not to the entire group. Or when you do the drop down, we're going to have hundreds here. And then also make sure that you are always checking this carrier answer pre-fill. Make sure you always have that checked as well. All right, anybody got any questions on that page? Nothing, I think we're good. All right, so I'm going to go in and I'm going to make this current. Oh, I added one, sorry about that. All right, here we go. All right, so now when you're going through your quotes, You're going to go through all the questions. Anything you want to add on the different questions, Maggie?
Not on the questions, but if you scroll back up, just a
Sure.
great tip is always try to quote at least 2 weeks in advance if possible. You're going to get all those early quote discounts by carrier. So if you notice Laura put in an effective date of 3/1, it's certainly preference. I always just say 2 weeks because it's easier to juggle instead of keeping up with which carrier offers a 5-day advance quote versus a 2-week advance quote. And then of course, you heard us talk about 6-month auto. A lot of us and a lot of agents prefer to do a 12-month auto, especially if you're packaging it with the home, less touch points. You just one and done. Every time in a year, you can do a quick review with your insured if they're on a 12-month term.
Absolutely. And when you're talking with your carrier reps, I'm sure the first question you ask them is, what are you paying me for commission? Because that's the very first question. And then ask them how you should have some of this set up. Ask them what their guidelines are. Ask them what their advance quote discount is. And then also ask them, do you need to issue this quote within that advance quote discount, like within those 10 days, 8 days, 5 days, making sure that you're getting that issued in time as well. All right, anything more on that, Max?
Nope.
Okay, going into policy information. Drivers, sorry, going into drivers. All
The
right,
answer is yes. Sorry, Laura, there was a question in the chat. If you are bundling, yes, that's a package if you're quoting the renters, condo, or homeowners with it.
yes, for sure. All right, so your drivers, and this is all the information that you're going to either send to them to fill in, or you're going to get this from your quote sheets, or like some of you are doing, or typing it in while you are sitting there with your clients. Here's some additional questions. The telematics, so important. And some of the carriers have pamphlets or documents on the telematics that when you add this coverage on and you send that quote to your client, you can add that document in there with them explaining a little bit more about what that is. All right, we're going to go into vehicles. Anything you want to add in here, Maggie?
Do you just want to touch real quick on how they can add a vehicle without a VIN number? Some people find that useful. If you don't have VIN numbers, you can certainly still bypass the system here by just selecting the year, make, and model. It will default to a VIN number to let you at least quote.
Here you go. Which one do I want? Not sure. All right. So you can add that right in. It's not going to let me go past here. All right. Anything more?
Just as a reminder too, I know some carriers are a little strict on it. Make sure you guys are asking who's on the title of the vehicles. Some of your carriers will require a separate policy if there's a youthful in the household or another family member that has their own vehicle.
Right. So if you are adding another vehicle on because you're purchasing one for your daughter because she's so wonderful, you can go ahead and add it in without that VIN just to get a quote if you're looking for that as well. So I'm going to take it off because I'm not buying any of my kids a Tesla. All right, going through, and I'm going to go through. So here is the incidents, violations, and the comp losses. Okay, the one thing that I always suggest if you've ever heard me talk to a client or on talking about ELynx is I ask my clients, do you have any tickets or accidents in the last 5 years? No, they don't, because they can't remember last month's accident, or maybe little Johnny didn't tell them that he got a ticket, whatever it may be. I go in and I would quote it with no tickets or accidents. But if they said to me, yeah, I had a violation, a speeding ticket, and I think it was 2 years ago, I come in here and I would add this in. And maybe I'll put 20. I'm going to put this date in it just so it quotes it with a ticket, but they don't have an exact date of what it was. That's something that I do. I'm going to delete that off because I don't, and I don't want to jinx myself. So I'll ask them tickets or accidents in the last 5 years. And then when I go and firm it up with the carrier, I don't run the MVR. And Maggie's going to talk, I think, a little bit more about MVRs, but I don't run the MVR when I go into the carrier because you get charged for those. So I go with that and go back to my clients and then give them the quote, get the money, then come back into, let's say if it's Safeco, and then run the MVRs.
Yep, and probably one of the number one questions I always get asked, if somebody is new to EZLynx, no, you cannot run MVR or Clue in EZLynx. So just like Jim had just put in the chat here, this is kind of a great tip. You know your carriers, you know who's charging. You're obviously going to see if you're getting any MVR chargebacks, but as long as you're writing business with them, you'll find that one carrier that you may be able to get away with from time to time running some MVR reports. Clue is typically free. Yes, I believe so, with everybody. So if you find that you have one preferred carrier that has just a nice, clean, easy to read Clue report, you know, that's another means of getting that information. So definitely lean on the carriers, learn that process, know who's charging what to help you just find that path in your agency. Best means of running reports.
Perfect. Thanks. That was great. All right. So now we're going to go into the coverages that you are advising your client on when they're coming from a captive agency and you're bringing them in and you're quoting them. You're going to be saving them money. Usually you're going to be saving them money. So I'm always looking to maybe up the coverages so you can give them, if they have state limits, you know, try quoting them at 100, 300, 100 and see what the difference is with that. Because as an, you know, you're an insurance agent, but you're also an insurance advisor and you are advising your clients on the coverages that you as the agent feel that they need. So remember, you're advising them. So if you go in and they don't want some of these coverages, make them sign off on it. And, you know, you're going to find that some of them might think, well, maybe I do need that full glass, you know, that $6 extra, I'm going to take it. You know, just try to go through and advise them on the coverages that you believe that they should have. Umbrella, always quote an umbrella. I can't say that enough. All right, anything on here, Maggie?
Just pay attention to those credits just in the middle of the page there. If it's a home, multi-policy discount, those are huge. So if you're, again, bundling, make sure that you have the appropriate answer selected.
Okay.
That's it.
AAA member discount, love AAA, that membership. If you guys have the access to sell it, it is one of my most favorite things that everybody needs to have. So you should look into that. And as for time, I won't get into my AAA membership spiel on how much I love it, but look into that if you have that available. Anything in here, Maggie, you want to review?
Nope, I think it looks good.
Okay. All right. And then they're going to ask you when they were a membership of, you go through and you have to answer all these carrier questions in order to get through so you can quote that. Oh, geez. Vehicle inspection date. Let's see if that's going to go through. I know it's one of the questions in any of my EZLynx trainings people always ask is, why do they ask me when they purchase the car? Why did they ask these questions? Because it's one of their questions, so we got to answer them. And then if you want that information, you can ask your carrier rep, why do you need to have that? All right, so I'm just putting
Sorry,
this
Laura,
everything.
I just wanted to say too, real quick here, does everybody see how much, I mean, a lot of this information is defaulted, so it truly is such a time save to go in and set as many defaults as possible. You still always have to end up answering a couple questions on this page, but could you imagine having to put in your producer code each and every time? So certainly review your defaults, look at them on an annual basis at the very minimum.
Absolutely. All
And
right.
you'd be surprised. I could talk about this forever and ever. But again, too, a lot of our carriers are offering a good, better, best product, right? That come with different commission tiers from time to time as well. And that's where you can also default those in the section there.
Yes. And you can get that information from your carrier reps too when you're talking Am I frozen? All right, can you guys see my screen?
Yeah, I think we unfroze now.
Am
Yeah,
I
we're good now.
froze? Okay, good. Okay, good. Well, hopefully I didn't freeze with some crazy look on my face. All right. So let's put that in. It just wants the year. All right. Let's see if it will take this now. All right, so now we did the auto. Now I don't want to submit it to the carriers because I want to go into the home. So if you submit it to the carriers just to get that auto, it's just going to go in there, not as a monoline product. So you want to make sure to get the auto in the home and to quote them together. And then now you're just going to click go to home. And I know somebody had a question in regards to a home in here, but I can't find it. I think it was
I answered it. It was regarding a new home purchase, selecting how long they've been in the current home. Select 0 years in 1 month, and it will require you to put in the prior address as well.
Yes, it will. Perfect. Okay, so now we're on the home. Like Maggie said, quote with all the carriers. Some of these I unchecked because I don't have those carriers. And then also here is the templates. And if you click down here, here's where you're going to quote your renters, change it to your condos. You can do that right in here. All right, so here we go. We're going to go in. Maggie, anything you want to talk about in here?
Definitely quote as a package. Yes, if you're bundling, you take advantage of that discount on the home if you're writing the auto. Underwriting information, it's I don't know why it's not big and bold, but again, this is important stuff right here, right? You can input if they have a trampoline, a pool, dogs on the premises, what type of dog breed. That way you can kind of prevent yourself from getting into a bit of a tizzy if it's an eligibility issue with the carrier when you go to bind.
And when you check that, it brings up all the different vehicle or dog breeds. All right. Questions. Now you're going to go into the dwelling information. Oh, goodness. I thought I had this all filled out. I'm really sorry, guys. So Maggie, if you want to go through any of this.
I mean, obviously these details are very important and specific. Square footage, you all know, having that accurate, the year built, foundation type, we don't want to be missing any of this information. As Laura's completing this, I'll just kind of talk out loud too. There are credits just down below, certainly want to take advantage of. You know, something as little as a deadbolt, every dollar helps, right? So if they've got central and fire alarm systems, this is where you can add that in. If you want to keep scrolling down a little bit more. Another question that I always get asked, protection class. ELynx is not intuitive enough to pull that information, but certainly you know where you live, you probably have a great idea of what the protection class is in most of the counties, or if you pull up and kind of have a feel, you could see where this house is located on a map. And then the most important part of this page right here are the updates to home. Roof age, electrical, plumbing type, and updates as well. And then lastly, don't forget any of the additional credits below, like that multi-policy discount, any other discounts that may apply.
I'm going to give myself the mature discount. All right. 0. All right. Any questions on this here? See how they moved this little, they hid this loss information.
Out to, yes, they used to have their own tab for loss information. Now ELynx moved it. It's okay. We're pointing it out to you. Add loss. It's just going to be hidden on this tab.
Yep, it is hidden. So if you click on it, it's the same thing. It looks just like it does for when you're adding in for the auto. Maggie, a question came to me about replacement cost.
Let's see, one of the hardest parts.
It's getting the good replacement cost.
Yeah,
so we can't get replacement cost from
during the quoting process. I see what you're saying, Kurt. What we've done in years past is if you know the general cost per square footage where you live, or the homes you're quoting, I typically would take that dollar amount and times it by the square footage to give myself a nice dwelling coverage to start with. So let's say, I know this is not accurate today, but let's say it's $150 a square foot in Illinois, for a 2,000 square foot home. Help me, Laura, I'm not good with quick math like that. So if we take 2,000 square feet.
Wait, am I
times
frozen again?
150, we're at 300,000.
Okay.
Right? So I would use that as a good number, for the dwelling amount to at least quote it. So that's a start. I would probably say today $200 a square foot to 250 is more accurate, in Illinois. Additionally, what was the question that just came in? Let's see.
About inspections on all the homes. So Maggie, because you're in with that, do all the carriers send their own inspectors out? So I just switched all of my insurance to branch and they sent somebody out. They texted me and told me when he was coming, emailed and sent him out. So I knew.
Definitely refer back to your carriers today to find out what their inspection process is, because a lot of it did change with COVID. I know that I would say 90% of the time, anytime you issue a new home policy, that carrier is going to go out and do an exterior inspection within 30 days. So it's probably something to include in every closing conversation when you issue a policy. Just kind of prep them to say, hey, somebody's more than likely going to come out and take a look at the home. So don't be alarmed, right? You don't want to catch anybody off guard, but have that conversation with the carrier reps definitely to see what it looks like today.
For sure. Now, is Traveler still doing that phone call where they were calling the clients? Do you know?
I actually just saw the first one come through in a very long time. Yes, they're essentially just auditing some of the new business. I don't know if it's like a red flag maybe that is associated, but I typically see it with a household that has multiple drivers. They're just calling to verify drivers in the household, or maybe you go and issue an auto policy where you removed drivers that were in the household pulling from their report. You know, there's certain triggers that can happen too, but I haven't seen it in a long time. The first one just recently.
All right, good. All right, moving on to endorsements. What do you want to add about this, Maggie?
This is certainly going to be preference, but I'm going to tell you guys, again, going back to that good, better, best, you know, a lot of these products come with some of these coverages here. So I always add on increased replacement cost, identity theft, replacement cost, depending on the type of policy you write, you know, special personal property. We try to write as many HO5s as possible. Coverages here are certainly going to be specific to the state that you're living in. Water backup here, you will not find us writing a home without at least 10,000 water backup on it today, even if their basement's unfinished and empty. So this is certainly customize it based on how you want you and your team quoting it. And don't forget, schedule personal property. This is the area where you can add that on as well.
All right. Any questions on this? I know Paula said that Travelers will cancel your policy if your clients don't answer that phone. And Dustin said the same thing Paula did.
Yep, they have been doing it for years. They used to do it much more often than they do today. So certainly if you see that and your customer is at risk of being canceled, make sure that they are calling them back. Absolutely.
So Jim asked, do you put special property coverage on your quotes?
I do, yes. It makes it more comprehensive. And you'd be surprised it's dollars more sometimes. I would rather sell their policy.
When you're quoting, like let's say Safeco, and Maggie was talking about all the different options here, they have 4. Safeco has 4. So it is important to know what you are selling.
And I will tell you, Safeco, that's a good example. They do pay different commission based on what you're quoting here, what you're issuing.
So ask your carriers about that. If they, you know, if let's just say for easy numbers, you know, maybe they pay 15% on essential, but if you're writing optimum, maybe they're going to pay 17. So that's something that you'll want to talk to your carrier reps about as well. All right, carrier questions. I'm a member since or longer, just putting that in there. All right, so you got all your carrier questions. So these all defaulted in from what I had set up, like Maggie was talking about before. We have 3. All right. So then when I go through here, anything that has that red asterisk, you need to have information entered in there. All right, so when I go to finish, so when I was talking about with you guys about creating that quote template one, when you get to the finish, you're going to be able to save it as a template. Save it as a template. And it's giving me an error telling me my policy expiration date is in the future. I know it is because I entered it in that way. And then I can come in here and submit it to my carriers. Does anybody have any questions? I'm not going to go ahead and submit it to all the carriers because we're running out of time. Is there anything, Maggie, you wanted to add about when they do submit it?
Just make sure if you guys aren't using it today, when you do go to submit, there is a button now, a newer feature to switch the applicant with the co-applicant, which is certainly beneficial to you if you're finding that maybe you're not competitive. You can certainly run quotes, switch it, and you might say, wow, I'm certainly more competitive now that I have maybe the spouse listed first. I'm not sure why it's not popping up there, Laura.
There it is.
There it is right here. You know, in addition to that, I do want to go back to renewals and remarketing. You know, I don't often share these quotes, these preliminary quotes with my prospects ever, but I certainly will do it in the remarketing process. So if they call me, they say their rate's too high, I shop them, everybody comes back higher. I will screenshot it and send it to them as a retool. A renewal tool, just to say, here's the visual of everybody else. You're still getting the best rate with Travelers, for example. So that certainly has worked very well over the years.
Yeah, for sure. So remember in the very beginning, I said, hey, install that Chrome extension. Here's where you can click and go right into the carriers. I don't have my carrier logins, but when you do, it comes right in here. And if I did have my carrier logins, then it would have saved it right there and brought me right into that quote. All right.
Rich asked if you switch husband and wife as primary and rerun quote, will it give the different scores?
If you find that the spouse originally listed as co-applicant has a better insurance score, yes. Not with all carriers. Some carriers will automatically pull the better of the two scores, but you will find carriers like Safeco, they don't do that. So if you switch, you might find a significant savings. So certainly check that feature out. It's a game changer. And at renewal.
Yeah, it certainly is, for sure. All right, does anybody have any other questions? I love that this chat is blowing up. I think Jim had one on there. My connect to carrier requires me to log in again on all of them. Double check in your, or maybe uninstall that Chrome extension and then reinstall it. And it works for Chrome. It's a Chrome extension. So you got to be using Chrome when you are going through and setting that up. All right. Any other questions that anybody may have on ELynx? I wanted to show you this because if you do have questions, if you go to our asnoa.com and go to the Asnoa University, here's where you can go and find out more information on the LMS. And I know a lot of you that are on this call have the LMS and you could chat in how wonderful it is. And Aaron's typing right now. He's like, yep, I love it because he loves it. And then if you go to the Asnoa University, here's where you're going to find all of our weekly sessions that we have available. You got questions on Epic? You got questions on downloads? Here you go. Go ahead and click and join Catherine for Epic Weekly Servicing Help. She does it so many times a week. You'll find a day and time that it's best for you. ELynx tips and tricks. Got more questions on ELynx? Join this. Join it every single week if you want to. Come in here, register, and go in and join us every week. We want to help you guys. So that's what you can do is go into the Asnoa University. If anybody has any other questions on ELynx, please join it. It's so important that we can give you guys all the help. We want you guys to love ELynx because it is so important, and you'll get all those quotes back. Then go into the carrier, firm it up, then present your quote to your clients. All right, so I want to thank you guys all for jumping on today. We went through carrier logins and defaults, tips and tricks. Join our weekly sessions. We want to see you guys. And also the secret word. Who else knows what the secret word is? Anybody? Anybody know what that secret word is? There you go. Kevin's like, Cupid. Perfect. So we went in, I created that video. So look through the brew, you guys. It's so important to be reading that information. And we will go ahead and get some secret swag out to a few of you for jumping on and giving us that comment. If you haven't seen the secret word, oh, it's in the brew, February 1st. Go back in and read it. Go back and watch the video that Catherine created about the outstanding commission. It's so important to have this information. We have all of these resources that are available to you. Please take advantage of them. Register for our weekly sessions. And I love seeing everybody going on to the AsNoa Facebook group and asking the questions. Hey, where do I put this home? Where do I put this business? Where can I find any of that? So utilize all of that. It is so helpful to be learning from your peers and getting that information because somebody has that information. They know where to place that business. You're going to get an email follow-up from this that's going to ask you to enter in some information, an evaluation for us. What do you want to see on upcoming Live with Laura? What was it, December when I did it, everybody said ELynx, ELynx, ELynx. So here we are. We are reading those. We are listening to you guys. So we want to help you out as much as we can. Remember, the AsNoa University is here for you along with AsNoa. If you need extra trainings, you need extra help, please don't get frustrated. Just reach out to us. That's what we're here for. We want to help you guys. So just let us know what you need and we will help you guys out. So thank you everybody for joining. I can't imagine not doing this. This is what I think my 4th year of doing Live with Laura every month for you guys. So thank you for always making it wonderful for me. And always remember, be epic.